So give them those 3 things again that wealthy people
So
do.
you say wealthy people stop trading time for money, they start making their money work for them, and they give value to as much value to people as they can.
If you think you can't be successful, that will govern the way that you move, right? So Kobe Bryant, people that have listened to me for a while have heard this quote 1,000 times, but boos don't block dunks. The world can hate you all they want, but if you're good enough, think about this. The best basketball players in the world were paid millions of dollars to stop Kobe Bryant from scoring, and the motherfucker scored 81 points in a single game. 81 points. When you've got 5 people paid millions of dollars actively trying to stop you, and they can't because you've gotten that good. That to me is the game of money. People can not want you to succeed all they want, but if you out-invest them, they can't stop you. They can't stop you.
You gotta start somewhere. You gotta make the game winnable in the language that we can understand. And so once you learn English, now you say, you know what, I wanna learn Spanish, I wanna learn French, I wanna learn that, because now you understand the power of words. And so once they started understanding the power of the game, it was like, okay, I can play this game. And so it was powerful for me when my homies in the street started investing their money. When my homies in the street who didn't finish school, who didn't go to college, started telling me, man, I bought some Apple, bruh. I bought some Microsoft, bruh. I bought some Nike, bruh, because I'm about to get them new J's. So I'm like, that was powerful for me.
Yeah.
We made the game winnable.
Because you talk about stocks in a way that sounds so rad, where it's like, you refer to yourself as an owner of the companies.
Yes.
And the thing is, it actually is true. Like you're not playing a linguistic game. It is true, but people don't think about it like that. But it's so much more powerful than having a cool pair of kicks is to say, I own the company that makes those kicks, or I own the company that makes that phone, or Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, works for me. I'm a shareholder, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really powerful. The journey that you've been on, you started on the streets, were homeless, in prison, like really caught up in the lifestyle. And through knowledge, you have transformed your life and your family's life. And if they can believe that you can do it, they have what I call the only belief that matters. The only belief that matters is this. If you put time and energy into getting better at something, you will actually get better at that.
Hell yeah.
And that is true for every human. Now, why is that the only belief that matters? Because your behaviors follow your beliefs, and only behaviors matter. So if you invest in the stock market, even if you don't believe in it, your investment could still go up. If you believe in the stock market and know it's the surest path to wealth, but don't invest in the stock market, you'll never reap the gains. So getting people to believe that they can get better, because what you've done is just read and study and research and spend time watching CNBC, and then you look, like I heard you once explain, oh, I'll see a ticker symbol go by that I don't know it. I don't sit there and waste time that I don't know it, I just go look it up.
Yeah.
And so now that's another ticker symbol. And for anybody that just heard ticker symbols, like, what the fuck is a ticker symbol?
Yeah.
Go look it up,
Yeah.
right? So you're such a powerful example of the power of knowledge. I think that's really, really interesting. So yeah, I hope that this is, for people that didn't know you before coming into this interview, hopefully they'll spend more time because they'll see just how much you know.
Man, thank you for that. And I understand that knowledge is what gives us leverage in life. It's not about how strong you are. It's about what you can learn. And then how can you actively apply that? I have this acronym called FEAR, finally exiting average reality, right? And what happens is, until we can overcome the fear, some people actually fear success. Success comes with a lot, right? But until you can overcome that average reality that you live in, no matter what you're on, once you become comfortable there, it becomes average. Anyone can live in average. Everyone can live in mediocrity, right? Then there's those outliers who consistently push themselves to go to the next level. LeBron spends $1 million on his body, working out, eating right, agility, mobility, because he will never be average. And the thing about the human mind and the human body, it will go as far as you push it, right? There's science that says that Gandhi levitated before. The power of the mind. So you may look at it like, man, nobody can't levitate. You out of your mind. But there's a level of meditation, concentration that you can lock into that can take you there. As long as you believe in it, like you said, the only belief that matters is, what do you believe you can do? I personally believe that there is nothing I cannot do. And for me, it's all about impact, purpose, fulfillment. Like, the money is a byproduct of everything else. That isn't my focus. My focus is I have a knowledge and information that I know that can change lives. Not just one life, not just like lives. And so the way that you change lives is by consistently learning, finding new ways to put that information out there, being able to open up, being able to be vulnerable, because people need to connect. People connect to knowledge in the way that they can see two things that help people: imagery and vocabulary. What they see and what they hear, right? So most people won't connect to a certain knowledge because the people who speak it don't relate, and two, can't speak the knowledge in the way that they can eat it. So for me, it's always about how can I attain as much knowledge as I can, because I love learning. Like, I love learning, but then how do I take that and be able to now reciprocate it or give it to somebody who may not understand calculus or trigonometry, but if I can give it to them in this way, they can say, oh yeah, I got it. And there's more people that struggled in the world that has become successful. So struggle has to become a language that I struggle. So that's a language I'm great at. So if I can break down things into a struggle language, now I make it the game winnable for everybody. And that's the goal, to make the game winnable for everybody who's bold enough to step into a batting cage. If you're bold enough to do that, I was bold enough to jump in a goddamn 152-foot tank with sharks in Dubai. If you're bold enough to do it, there's an experience that comes from that. And that experience is so exhilarating, it will take you to the next level. Because now you keep chasing the next level of you. And that is when you start understanding life at a whole nother concept, when you start understanding that, yo, for the longest, I was just low-level living. I was low-level thinking. Now that I've been exposed to something, and I say this often, whatever you haven't been exposed to isn't your fault. Once you get exposed to it, you now are accountable for it. And so once I've become exposed to so much knowledge and information, once I expose you to it, you're accountable, because now you can no longer say, I didn't know.
What do you say to people that don't think they have enough money to invest?
So the important thing for me to tell them is start where you are. You build a house brick by brick. I mean, of course, you can get a house put together all at once. We live in that world now.
I get the idea.
Right? But you build a mansion, you build an empire, you build it brick by brick. Like, you start with $25. And we have to understand, thank R.I.P. to Nip, man, a great, he says something that's phenomenal. He said, we on a marathon. We didn't get into our situation overnight, right? If we look back at our situation, you see you inherited that, whatever it is, that poverty. You inherited that mindset, that idea of scarcity, that idea that you don't have enough money. You inherited that. Building wealth becomes a revolutionary act, because now you start saying, I'm gonna go against what I was taught, right? And so I said, by starting with $25, if you can do $25 a month, that's cool. If you can do $25 a week, that's cool. But what happens is, once you start understanding the power of how your money works, you'll start saying, yo, I don't need to do that, because that's taken away from this. That 25 will now become $50. Guaranteed. That 50 will now become 100, because you're gonna start doing more with less. The person who works out and sees that they drop 10 pounds in 2 weeks says, you know what, I'm gonna go a little harder, because I know if I can drop 10, I can drop 20. Right? I know if I see one muscle shape up, I know it's possible. The word possible is so powerful. Possible changes the game. Instead of it being impossible, we now say I am possible, or I'm possible. That changes the dynamic. So the first mindset is saying, invest in your first stock. It don't have to be a winner. It doesn't have to be a home run. It can be an AT&T stock that costs $26 right now. It may not be the best investment in the world, but you started, right? And the great thing about anything is, you can't be great if you never go to practice. You can't hit 81 if you never get in the gym. So just get in the gym, and then find somebody who can teach you. Be dedicated to understand the process. Warren Buffett said he reads 500 pages a day. That lets me know I got a whole lot more reading to do, man. I'm an audible book junkie right now, because if he's the greatest investor, and if he's reading 500 pages a day, I don't know how he does it, but in my mind, if he's still learning, I got a whole lot of learning to do. If somebody like Monesh Prabrai and Guy Spivey can pay Warren Buffett $1 million to have lunch with him, and these are already great investors who I look up to, if they can pay him $1 million to go have lunch with him, that means they're trying to learn. Their learning has to go to the next level. So if learning is the catalyst to everybody who's wealthy and successful, I can never be sufficient with what I know. And I think that has to happen too. You have to understand the power in learning and being educated.